Alright, so we had our ultrasound yesterday and results are in. We do know the gender. She said probably, well, first time she said 85% sure, and then she looked again and said 95% sure, and then after the ultrasound was done and I went to go use the bathroom, because I'm sure most of you know how much you have to pee after that, she looked again at the pictures that she had taken and she said, you know, definitely at least 90% sure, which is always nice to hear, and I think that's what they said with Wyatt too, but she was at least 90% sure that baby number 3 is going to be a girl. Daddy's little girl. I'm in shock. You know, I kind of had like a gut feeling from the beginning of this pregnancy the baby was going to be a girl. I bought a couple of things that were pink. I wouldn't normally buy things that were anything but gender neutral until we knew. I even bought some pink yarn the day before the ultrasound, hoping that I would have a reason to make a pink blanket this time instead of a blue one. I mean, I had the blue yarn set aside in case it was a boy. I had like a red, white, and blue yarn in case we weren't able to tell. And I might still make that blanket anyway, just because it sounds like fun. But I bought some pink yarn. It's like a pink and purple mixed color, and just kind of hoping that I might get to use it. If not, you know, maybe I'll find some reason to make myself a hat or something. But thankfully it looks like I got a reason to use it. Everything went pretty good with the ultrasound. She had a little trouble seeing stuff. Baby was super active and moving around, and she had to be really quick and hit the button quick to be able to take the pictures she needed to take, to get the measurements that she needed to take. And then baby went from dancing all over the place to literally curling up into a little ball. And just like she didn't want to be seen, she didn't want to be hurt, she just wanted to be left alone. And she turned so that her spine was facing out to where the ultrasound wand, whatever you want to call it, is, which made it really hard to get pictures. And at that point she was working on trying to get pictures of the heart and the hands and that kind of stuff. She couldn't really get very many pictures because baby was facing the wrong way. And she did eventually turn back around, but she was so active again at that point that we couldn't get all the pictures we needed. So I do have to go back sometime in the next month. Everything looks good. She looks healthy. There is nothing to be concerned about. They just didn't get the pictures that they wanted up close of the heart. And, you know, they just like to have those pictures on record to be able to say, okay, we checked. Everything looked good. So I will have to go back, and I will have to have another ultrasound, and they will do their best anyway to get pictures of her heart and her hands. There is one picture we got that you can kind of make out where her head is, and her little hand is kind of up, you know, up like this, like hello. But it's not a very good, but none of the pictures that she put on the CD for us were very good. And it's not her fault at all by any means. And she said that. She's like, I almost hate to give this to you because I pride myself in the pictures that I get in an ultrasound to give to the parents, and these aren't very good pictures. But, you know, it's nobody's fault. Couldn't help it. She did her best, and I guess baby was just too darn wiggly and stubborn. I'm not surprised. So other than that, ultrasound went well. I had to roll around a lot. And of course, I actually went pee. They said you're not supposed to urinate for 45 minutes or longer before the ultrasound. And so I went, because the ultrasound was at 3, and I went at 2:45. Or 2:15. And then Ethan had decided he wanted to donate blood. So I was sitting there waiting for him to finish that so we could go over to the other building to do the ultrasound. And I'm like, all right, I gotta go. I gotta go. It's you know, 20 to 3 at this point, and I have to pee. I can't hold it any longer. So I went to the bathroom again. And then he was taking a little longer, and I thought, I gotta start walking. I'm slow. I gotta start walking over to that building. And he was catch up with me. So by the time I made it from the building that he was in to donate blood to the building where obstetrics is and where my ultrasound was, I had to pee again. And it was like probably 2:50 at that point. And I'm like, I can't help it. I cannot hold this. It's not going to happen. I have to pee. So I went pee, and I had a big thing of water with me, and I chugged that. And it must have been good enough, because they didn't complain at all. They didn't say anything looked like I didn't have enough urine or whatever. She didn't blame having trouble seeing things on that. So must have been good enough, I guess, despite me peeing constantly. After the ultrasound was my 20-week OB appointment, and see, the ultrasound is at 3. We got done with that at 3:30. My OB appointment was supposed to be at 4. The doctor didn't come in until 4:45. Oh my God, it was nuts. It was so ridiculous just sitting there, and you didn't really want to play with your phone for too long because you didn't know when somebody would walk in, and I always feel like it's rude to be on my phone when they walk in, and I'm just lucky Ethan didn't climb the walls, because he hates that stuff. He can't stand sitting there, especially for 45 minutes. I'm surprised he was that patient. But yeah, she came in, and it was not my normal doctor. It was somebody else on his team. I will see my normal doctor at my next appointment, thank God, because I've only seen him at the first one, so. And I purposely picked him. He's the one that I had with Wyatt, and I feel very comfortable with him. He's never been anything but wonderful with us. So yeah, he was even the doctor we saw with the baby that we miscarried when we went into triage. He was the one that we saw. So I had a pretty long standing obstetrical relationship with this man. So yeah, I'm glad I get to see him next time. It's fun to see him. He's such an upbeat person. He's so kind, and he's so interested in you as a patient and what you're going through and what can he do to make you feel better. And I love getting to see him when I'm there. So, but this lady I saw was perfectly fine. She was perfectly nice. She apologized a great deal for being super late. But it was a quick, maybe 10-minute appointment. I mean, we sat there for 45 minutes for 10 minutes of talking to the doctor. So that was kind of ridiculous, but what are you going to do? But we just went over the ultrasound results. She agreed I should come back for another ultrasound. I talked to her about some possible UTI symptoms that I was having, and she agreed that that's what it sounded like. So then she sent me downstairs to give a urine sample. Thankfully that was over and done quick. But everybody knew that we had gone for the ultrasound at 3. They were all waiting for a response from us. And it was important to me and to my husband that we get a chance to call or text our parents and Brian first to let them know what the gender of the baby was and that the baby was okay. And then once we told them, it was okay to tell everybody else. Well, Ethan's mom text messages. So he was able to text message a conversation with her about what was going on. Brian has a cell phone. I was able to text message with Brian and let him know what was going on. My mother has a cell phone, but does not text. Seriously. My mother-in-law is older than my mother, and my mother, yeah. So anyway, I didn't want to call my mom while we were in the doctor's office or anywhere in the clinic. And I don't like being one of those people that has a whole conversation very loudly with somebody else. Well, 8 million other people listening to your very personal conversation. So I chose to wait to call my mom until we got out to the car. So, yeah, ultrasound was at 3. It was like 5:15 before I got a hold of my mom. So it was, dang near 5:30 by the time I actually get anything put on Facebook. And at that point, I'm surprised people weren't throwing stones and microwaves at us, because it was taking forever for us to say, everything's okay, baby looks good, baby's a girl. So I'm excited. I want to go shopping. I cannot wait to go shopping. Tomorrow's Saturday. I don't work. And Wyatt and I are just going to go and see what we can find. I hate to say it, but I will continue to be cautiously optimistic if when she arrives, she continues to have girl parts instead of boy parts, then I'll throw all the receipts away and I'll wash everything up. But I'm not throwing any receipts. I'm not washing anything up until she's here. And I know for sure I'll probably feel, a little more comfortable if at the next ultrasound they can check quick and they say, yeah, we still see labia and not a penis, you know. Because I was pretty sure I saw this, they tell you look for the 3 lines because that's the labia. And I'm pretty sure I saw it several times. That ultrasound tech who's been doing this for some 20 odd years said she was pretty sure it was a girl. And nothing I saw looked anything like what Wyatt had going on. So I'm pretty sure we're pretty safe. But those of you who know my history, those of you who've known me for the last 15 or so years, ugh, you're well aware of the fact that on several occasions, the doctors told me and my ex, who attended every appointment with me, every ultrasound, he was right there with me, and they all said, I think you're having a girl. Now, it's not that they saw girl parts. It was more of an absence of parts. They didn't see girl parts. They didn't see boy parts. They didn't really see anything. And Brian was known to just sprawl out. He wasn't holding anything back. But I don't know if just the technology at that time wasn't very good, or he had some black hole void in space down there, or what. But you just didn't see anything. You didn't see anything. I mean, you couldn't even really see where there was, here's the legs, and then here's a black hole. It's, I don't know, it was weird. And it was multiple ultrasounds. And even the night before Brian was born, I thought my water had broke. I had Brian's biological father take me into the hospital, and we went up to labor and delivery, and they did an ultrasound, and they checked, and from what they could see, no girl parts, no boy parts, just black void. So they guessed girl. And, of course, he came out. He was a boy. So, thankfully, we had thought of a boy's name in the event that this happened. He picked out a girl's name, and I picked out a boy's name, and I won. Yay! It's not exactly the game you want to win at, but I won, and he got named Brian David instead of Morgan Lynn. So, well, we do have a name for this girl. Her name will be Adalia Lynn. We also have a boy's name set aside in the event that this baby comes out and has a penis. Baby has a penis, we have a name. We're good. And we have boy clothes and stuff because of Wyatt. So, either way, we should be good. Hopefully, she continues to be a she, though, because I'm starting to get excited about pink stuff. But other than that, oh, yes, in the ultrasound, she's breech. I'm not at all surprised. The doctor and the tech were like, well, at this point, they can turn around at any time. And I was like, she ain't gonna turn. Both my boys were breech. She's been breech since, probably the second ultrasound we had done. I don't foresee her flipping much. I'm sure she'll get stuck that way, and I'm sure I will end up with another C-section. I'm counting on that because I don't want to get my hopes up for a VBAC. The doctor said that they do VBACs after 2 cesareans, and that it is an option for me. However, Dr. Creedon, Dr. Creedon, I'm trying not to say his name, but whatever. He's an awesome doctor, so who cares? He has a set of rules that certain things for me, because of the structure of my uterus, have to be a certain way. And if they are that way, like baby has to be head down, then he would allow me to attempt a VBAC. Baby's head up, he will not turn the baby. It is too much of a risk due to the shape of my uterus, to me, and to the baby. He will not do it. No arguments. Don't bother, is what he said. And if you don't agree with me on that, and if we can't come to that agreement, then I'm not your doctor. And that's kind of one of the things that cemented us in, we want this guy, because he was so strong in his beliefs. And we knew that whatever choice we went with, he was going to support us to the end. So, because Wyatt was breech, he laid down the law. We didn't turn Wyatt. We went ahead and did a C-section. He won't deliver breech either. A vaginal delivery breech, not happening. And I'm fine with that. I'm happy that he's strong in what he believes in. And it makes me feel more secure, having those kind of set rules. You know, like a little kid or a teenager. They need those rules. They need those boundaries to feel safe. And for me, him setting up rules and boundaries like that makes me feel safe. So, I'm sure the same thing will apply. I'll talk to him more, you know, in a month or so when I have my next appointment. But I'm guessing, I had my hopes up so hard and so strong for a vaginal birth with Brian. I was so let down. I'm just heartbroken because I had no idea it was coming. I went in there, my water had broke. I thought I was going to have a vaginal delivery. I was going to have an epidural. And that's not what happened at all. And I was heartbroken. And I think that makes your recovery more difficult if it's not planned and it's not what you wanted, but you were kind of forced by the circumstances and the need for safety for you and your baby. It makes recovery harder. Now with Wyatt, again, I got my hopes up very high for a VBAC because they did everything surgery-wise to make sure that I would have that option. But at least with him, there was a warning. Your baby's breech. We can't turn him. You're going to have a C-section. And they scheduled the C-section. And then I had the problems with my fluids, and he had to come a little bit early, 2 weeks early. But again, I was prepared. I know. Okay, 37 weeks on the day this baby's coming out one way or another. It's by C-section. I know what's going to happen. I'm good. So, it'll probably be the same with this baby. And I'm fine with that. If I know ahead of time, it's easier to plan, it's easier to mentally prepare and physically prepare, and prepare your hospital bag and your kids and your family and what have you. And honestly, I really think that makes your recovery time different, because there was a massive difference between my recovery with Brian and my recovery with Wyatt. And I think there will be a big difference between, again, Brian and Adelia's recovery times. So, anyway, I've rambled on for almost 20 minutes. This was just supposed to be, hey, guess what? It's a girl. It's a girl. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please feel free to subscribe. If my mouth wasn't so dry, I could probably talk better. But, yeah, so I'm going to go shopping tomorrow. You guys have a good weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye.